that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
A large, hairy creature with arms that hang down beside its, bore down on its sides.
And I told him my name, and when I told him the name, he said he was called Code.
It was not anything from this earth that I'm quite sure of.
You're listening to the Strangeology Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Foran, and this is your place to explore the weird, strange, and unexplained. From cryptids and creatures, the paranormal, aliens and UFOs, forbidden knowledge, ancient mysteries, conspiracies, and more. All right, folks, welcome back to the show today. Before we get started, make sure to follow Strangeology on all of my socials for more content. Links to my Instagram, Facebook communities will be linked in the show notes as always, and make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter over on Strangeology.com for monthly updates and more. And if you're watching this episode on my YouTube channel, please subscribe. If you haven't yet, it helps out a ton when you do. Also, Strangeology is on Substack now, which has my podcast feed and more content. So if you're on there, definitely check that out in between episodes. And for any other podcast updates from me, conference appearance announcements, etc., make sure to stick around at the end of the show. Okay, so this episode is going to be a special one, and it's a little hard to hide my excitement here. I have the privilege today of speaking with Bill Homann and Catherine Lanigan. Now, if you're unfamiliar, since 2007, Bill has been the legal guardian of the legendary Mitchell-Hedges Crystal Skull. Now, this is an enigmatic artifact that has captivated the imagination of people around the world. So we're going to be getting into the history, the mystery, the legends, and personal experiences surrounding this remarkable relic. So just a couple quick introductions here before we dive in. Bill has spent a lifetime traveling the world for humanitarian type work to help people find love and joy and happiness in their lives. He's met with indigenous tribal leaders and shamans across North and South America, the Aboriginal people of Australia. He first learned of the Mitchell-Hedges skull while he was stationed in Panama, while he was a sergeant in the Air Force. And he eventually connected with Anna Mitchell-Hedges in the late 1970s, and now is the guardian of the skull. And he travels around the world with the skull so the world can see and experience this relic. And so it's not kept behind glass in some museum out there. Now, Catherine is also here with us, and she is an international best-selling and award-winning author of over 60 books, most notably a nonfiction trilogy on angelic intervention, and has had her stories adapted for television, and she speaks frequently at conventions, inspiring audiences with her real stories of interactions with these angelic beings, as well as appearing on many other podcasts and radio shows alike, like Coast to Coast, that we all know and love. So without further ado, thank you both, Bill and Catherine, for being here today. I guess my first question really is, this object has always fascinated me since I first learned about it. For listeners who are unfamiliar with the story, can you share the origin story of the Mitchell-Hedges skull and how did it eventually come into your care?
Sure. Excuse me. Mitchell-Hedges was a British explorer adventurer. He worked with the British Secret Service and spent time down in Central America at the time where a lot of the Nazis were down there looking for these special artifacts. And he believed there was a tie between Atlantis and the Maya. And he was trying to make that connection. And so he heard about a city that was buried deep in the jungle, completely covered, and went off to find that. It was in British Honduras at the time. Now it's Belize. And the name of the site was Lubantun, which means the place of the falling stones. falling light or whatever. But if with the ETs, yeah, and connection, you think with that energy, uh, there's a lot of the Mayans believe in the sky people, and they're very connected to that legends and beliefs. So he went off and they went through the jungle, and it took them, had to cut and chop most of the way. And then they found a stream, a river that would take them up there. And they started up the river, and with all their supplies, hit rapids, and they lost everything. They were able to put together one boat of the three, and they went up the river, and they were going through the jungle and fell over this stone, which is a dolmen stone, and they knew that they were there, so they were all excited. But that was just the start, because it took like 4 years of chopping and burning, and with the help of all the Mayans in the area to open up these pyramids. And there were 7 pyramids on the site. There was a ball court, one of the first one they found down in that area, and also there was spiritual centers there. So he uncovered them all, and on the tallest pyramid, it was said that if you went to the top, you could see all the way to the ocean. And he was down there with his adopted daughter Anna, and the kids were always told never to go up there. It was dangerous. There's snakes, the rocks move. But she wanted to see the ocean, so when everyone was taking a siesta in the middle of the day, she snuck up with some of the Mayans, and they went to the top, and it was real cloudy, and there was a movement in the clouds just big enough for a beam to come down, and it went through the pyramid rocks, and there was a light inside. And she ran down excitedly to tell her dad, who put her in big trouble for being there. But when she woke up the next day, he had all the men out there, and they were starting to take rock by rock, and it started to collapse. So they had to change their plan and then do it very, very carefully. And after about 6 weeks, they got a hole big enough in this pyramid, and they chose Anna, since she's the one that saw it and she was small, put a rope around her and lowered into this pyramid in the dark that hadn't been opened for 1,000 years. So you don't know what's inside or what's going to happen. But so she went in and felt around, and there was something there. And she put it in her shirt and pulled on the rope, and they brought her up. And that's when it opened up, and the skull was seen in light for that first time in so many years. But with that, the Mayans, it was like their God had returned. So it was very powerful, very emotional. So that is the way the story was told.
It was in 1924.
That was in 1924, and it was on January 1st, 1924, when she found it, and that was her birthday, her 17th birthday. And the interesting thing is, when she passed it to me on April 11th, which was my birthday. So that's with the skull, there's always amazing things that happen, and they all fall into interesting places, and keeps life interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, certainly it sounds like it. That's a very cool, very cool thing that happened. Now,
How did I?
to meet Anna?
Okay, well, let's see. When I was down, I was in Panama in the service, and I'd go out to this little island that was off the coast called Taboga, and they had a big bay there. And Mitchell-Hedges loved to fish, and I think he has at least 3 or 4 of his world records have never been beaten all this time. And so he came in there for to load up his boat and get ready to go out again. And there was a young lady there at the time. She was young, and she owned this little hotel right on the beach. And that was the place I would go scuba diving. And when I was, in the service, you get a little time off, and that's where I loved to spend my time. And while I was there, I met with her, and she told me the story of Mitchell-Hedges and his men coming down there and meeting with him, and some of the stories he told. And it got me all excited, because I love adventure. I'm always ready for an adventure. And then hearing this in the jungles down there in the ocean, and it was just magical, so to speak. And then I was on on the mainland and went to one of the places where they had a big room with a lot of the information on the Panama Canal. And there was a picture on the wall of Mitchell-Hedges. He was called into the Panama Canal because it was blocked. It had been blocked for several weeks and they couldn't get any boats in or out. And so they brought him down there, and what it was, there was a huge octopus that completely closed off the canal. And so he had to go up with chain, well, they did harpooned it, and then they chainsawed it up and drug it out by tugboats to open up the canal. But I heard that story, and then I happened to see a picture of the Mitchell-Hedges skull, and I believe that if there's people that see it, but there's people that are drawn to it. And at this time in the history of the Earth, it's important to bring the people together that have that interest, because there's a purpose for everything, and there's people who want to just look at it. Oh, this is neat, but there's some that have that drawing, and we're open now to bringing the people together that have a connection, a past life connection or whatever, with the skull. So I find that very exciting. So after I saw the picture and everything, then went back to the States. I was taking a class in crystals, and this young lady just came back from Canada, where she met with Anna Mitchell-Hedges and her secretary, Cynthia, and told how exciting it was and how beautiful. And she showed me a few pictures, and she gave me the telephone number up there. And I called up there, a little nervous, but I did. And right off the bat, they were like people I'd known forever. So I felt so comfortable. And so I drove up there for the first time, and we met and became friends and connected really strongly with the skull. And then I would go up over the years, and anytime she needed to take the skull to a place to show it or whatever, I would get off so I could go up and do that for her, help her. And that went all the way till 1990. In 1990, her secretary passed away. And after that, she moved, sold her house. It's a 4-bedroom house, and all the stuff in it, she moved it by boat to England and bought another house. And she stayed over there for like 2-3 years and decided it wasn't right. So she sold everything, put everything back in the boat, and took it back to Canada.
Oh, wow.
It was near Toronto. Kitchener is the name of the town. It was her town. And and so she got everything back and got it in place, and she was there. And I called when we would talk all the time. I called, and she was not doing very well. She had some kind of a thing in her chest, and she was barely making it. And every time I'd call, I'd feel worse and worse. So I told her, "Hey, come down here to Indiana. I'll get you feeling better, and we'll go on some adventures." And I guess she liked that idea because she loves adventure too. And so she came. We loaded up in a big U-Haul and brought her down to Indiana, and she stayed down there for probably 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. And she started the teaching me of how to take care of the skull and what to do with it, because the skull can't be sold; it can only be gifted, and it's only can be gifted to who pretty much the skull chooses it. Even if the skull chooses it, it does.
It chooses his guardians.
Yeah, and so
interesting.
It does keep life interesting. So that was that, and then she went back to Canada. Then she sold that house and moved to England, bought another house, moving all her stuff every time. And then she didn't like that, and she moved back to Canada, bought another house, and she was kind of under the weather again. And I said, "Well, you better come back to Indiana. We'll have some adventures." And she sold the house, put everything in a Utah, and I went up there and helped, and we all moved everything down here. And that was in 2001, right before 9/11. So if it would happened after 9/11, we wouldn't be able to get the U-Haul through the border. But we were able
Right.
to,
Yeah.
and it was right before, so we took it down there, and she got better, and we had a number of very interesting adventures. One of them was she wanted to see Honduras again, where her father found a lot of artifacts, and some of the stuff they had to leave down there because when they were called back to England, and then he was going down with everything loaded up to go back and check it out again. But then the war broke out, and so he wasn't able to leave because they needed him to stay there and help the country. So he stayed and worked with them, and never got back down there. So Sammy wanted to see a few places and where it was. So we took her first to Copan, and they were driving to Copan after going all night with no sleep, and then getting there. And I'm driving on these roads and straight drops like that. And you looked over, there's a bus, end of the bus sticking out where it didn't make it. See, so it's like, whoa, I think I'll try to slap myself in the head and drink some coffee. I got to get through this. But we got there, and she got to meet with some of the archaeologists that were on the site. And we took Carol Wilson Davis, the one that wrote the book The Skull Speaks, and she's one of the top psychics in Canada, and a very special person. And she was with us, and so she would key into things like you wouldn't believe. And we went to Copan. It was one of the biggest sites, Mayan site in the country. And we she met with the archaeologists, and they had just found the Red Lady of Copan, and the tomb was they were in it, but nobody's ever been in it except for the archaeologists. And so they talking to Carol told them a number of things, that where it was, how it was laid out, everything, what they were missing, and they were like shocked. And then they went and checked on it, and she was 100% right. So they invited her, which didn't invite anybody in, but they were inviting her in, and she says what Carol always said: "That's okay, I'll let Bill do it." I put it on me, but that was okay. So, but we met some interesting stuff in there, and then we flew down to Rotan, and that's where there's an island around there, very close, that Mitchell-Hedges left this crystal boy. It's just about 18 inches tall of pure crystal. It could be a crystal boy or crystal deity, and he left it in a cave down there, and she wanted to check on that. And the story must have been heard because I had NBC through Science, the Sci-Fi Channel, and they wanted to do a 2-hour documentary about it. And so I gave them all the ideas for it, but then they invited me along, which I didn't mind at all, because we're going through caves and going through the jungle and all. It was pretty cool, man, going through the mangrove swamps. But we did that, and but Carol would always, and Sammy would stay back. I call her Sammy because that's her nickname, Hannah. And they would stay back and send Bill, and I went through the stuff. So it's always an interesting time, and it's not always the same. So, but she passed away on, like I said, my birthday, and trained me on what she wanted, how to take care of the skull, how to use the energy to block it, to send it, whatever. And after that, she passed, and then at first it was really a learning thing. Why me? Why would I get this opportunity? Why would it be? But as I've studied with the various shamans and spiritual leaders from all over, and going back, some people believe in past lives, but because of the business I am in, past lives fits pretty comfortably, and so have had a lot of contacts with the skull in the past, and I believe it's because we're at a time now that the skull has come out because the world needs help, and the skull has a lot of this ancient universal love. So if you're around the skull, you feel like a connection with the creator. So that's a really neat thing.
Yeah, yeah, that is quite the adventure, quite the history there behind
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anna, F.A. Mitchell-Hedges, and where it's come into your care uh, since 2007. Now,
So, yeah.
yeah. Now I'm wondering, I do want to kind of get into a little bit about, um, you know, uh, how you take care of this skull. What goes into that? Are there specific rituals or energies that you need to try to like
with,
harness and draw, or how does that all work?
with the skull, it's all natural. So it's not like you have to do anything real. It's because I have the Mayans have worked with me, and the connection of the skull with me is just like we're almost like one. So,
Right.
and if I can just, you can probably feel energy just by way moving the energy with the skull. Is it
Through the Zoom.
through the Zoom? Yeah. And what you're feeling now from the skull is this great love. So you should feel that kind of in your heart. So it's quite interesting.
But no rituals.
No ritual.
No ritual.
Okay. Yeah. It's just a radiant thing for sure.
Being. Radiant,
Yeah.
beautiful being.
Yeah, and he's sending you fun right now. So if maybe you're picking that up. In life right now, there's too much scary stuff, and what the skull is saying is time for bringing love and joy and peace and happiness into the world. And so that's one of the energies it's putting out quite strongly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. It's a very important thing to have that kind of energy projecting out into the world in these days, for sure. Now I'm wondering, you've both spent a number of years in close proximity. Of course, I mean the skull's with you every day. Can you talk about some of the most profound or inexplicable, interesting experiences that you've had with the skull?
The skull, when we work on it with people in a session like that's, it's pretty interesting
One-on-one.
how it works on a one-on-one session, because the skull opens the person up and helps them to see the different blockages that they have. And the blockage is like you got a river that's flowing down here, and all of a sudden there's a big boulder in it, and the water is fighting to get around it. When you remove the boulder, it's a freeing thing, and then it changes the energy of the person. So the skull is able to do that, which I find it, there's more to learn all the time. I do not know everything for sure, but I work with that. And the skull communicates with her by usually giving 2 or 3 or 4, usually 2 or 3 of a past lives that connect that with the person that by removing and helping them to understand what it is. It opens up them to get through it, release it, and bring out their gifts. Because so many people, especially now, are here at a time when we're kind of raising the consciousness of humanity, where the DNA is being changed in a positive way to bring in this kind of a connection with the galactics that they're working with us. So by doing that, hearing that, it does. We've had some real interesting ones with that for sure. And I met a lot of really nice people at Contact in the Desert last year, and
Yeah, we did.
we did change lives, and that's what I like. And with the skull also, it works on the grid lines. The Aborigines call them sun lines. And once when when I had the skull, it was almost the first year, I got a call from Australia, and they wanted me to bring the skull over there. So I brought it over there, and when I got there, one of the first people I met was some of the Aborigines who said that they were planning on me being there for the last so many years before anybody knew about it. So I thought, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty neat. Then
They were waiting for him.
yeah, but then they said they needed me to take the skull out to an area where there's an old caldera, ancient volcano, and they said there was energy line, sun line that was blocked from the volcano all the way through into the sea, all the way to Machu Picchu, and it had been blocked for many hundreds of years. And so we went out there, and they told me put it right here, and they did a little ceremony, ritual, or whatever, and I was just with them, and all of a sudden they said, okay. And I picked it up and they thanked me and they said it worked. And I went on my way. But
It's like, thanks for coming.
yeah. But
Yeah.
and they're so deep and they're connected. Probably the oldest people on earth are the Aborigines. And,
Yeah.
and their knowledge is really something. They gave me an initiation. I don't know if this is the good initiation or not, but they took me out in the jungle because there's one area needed work, and they gave me this stuff to drink that tasted really bad, and so I drank it. Okay, but I found it was a good thing I did because it's to keep the snakes away, and with Australia having the 10 most deadly snakes in the world.
Yeah.
And I had these two guys. Yeah,
Right?
I don't like snakes. And I had two Aborigines in front of me, and I'm walking through the jungle, and then they kind of laugh at me and say, "Well, the first person that goes by, he sees, and the next person he gets mad, and the third one he's going to get after." And I'm in line. I'm the third guy.
Oh no. Oh boy.
3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah. So but you gotta, in the business, you gotta have a sense of humor, and a lot of interesting things. Yeah.
Do other people request that you come out and help clear energy and grid lines and that kind of thing? I was curious about that.
Yeah. I've been doing it mostly in the country for the last so many years because of some of the changes, but so I really need somebody that has a private jet to get to me some of these places, but that'll
Yeah, we
all
can't
in
fly
due time.
commercial. We can't fly commercial with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you get precious cargo for sure. Now, I was curious. So back in the 1970s, or I think it was 1970, Hewlett-Packard did a bunch of testing on the skull. Anna let them kind of run tests and see what was going on physically with the skull. Can you talk about that a little bit? And has there been
Sure.
any additional testing done over the years?
Okay. What it is it was tested in 1970 by some of the top scientists in the world in crystal at Hewlett-Packard laboratories, and they were able to determine in their last saying what it was. They're saying this thing should not be here. They say it should be, if it was hand rubbed, it would take 300 years of hand rubbing with sand and herbs to shape it, because it's got bumps like in a human head. It has dolphins in the cheekbones. If you look at the side, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's the head, the tail, and the fin. There's one on this side, and there's one on this side.
Oh, wow.
And what it is, it's like the double dolphins of Lemuria. So we're kind of connecting a lot with that energy lately. And so that's why the skull is kind of coming out more to help humanity. So yeah, it's got, if you look in the back of it, it's like a human brain, 2 halves of a human brain, if you get the angle right. And if you look into the eyes, it takes you into a whole different world of crystal.
Yeah.
And you see like a crystal palace or something, and it's like it's alive in there. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, do we have any idea how old the skull is?
Okay, you know what? It's made against the grain. It has lenses and prisms built into it that direct the light. To do that, it would take a technology that's not even available on Earth today, because to build a crystal exactly like you want on it, you can't do it in gravity. So they are working on crystals and they are building them precisely, but they're doing it on the space center up in space right now. So that's another thing that makes how that happen. And it does. As far as tool marks, there is no tool marks on it. It was tested 4 times at Smithsonian. They couldn't find it. The last time we tested all morning, they couldn't find any. And then they say, okay, go to lunch. And so I went to lunch. So they send me out of the room, and they come back and they say, "Oh, look at there's tool marks." So I went to to one of the colleges around here, Purdue, and I went in the lab and retested it the same way they did, because they took Redesicol, I think it is Regisil, the stuff dentists use, and they were putting it on the skull, and then they take it off, and then they put it under a microscope and try to see what it is. Because if you take a microscope and you shine it into the skull, trying to see the surface, how can you look into a piece of glass, something that this is as clear as ice, holy ice. And so and there's a beauty to it, but you can't look into it. You have to put something on the surface and then look at what's on that. Because if you just look inside, there's all different things going on. And I think it has to do with the technology, where they're looking into light, where they're using light patterns, and they're imprinting them inside the skull with different knowledge. And so that, if you have technology, or you have something like this in a world as a race of people are leaving for whatever reason, and they want to save stuff for future generations, you would put it on something that was loved very much or feared very much. And so the skull would be a perfect thing because of the beauty of it. It would be protected. And then with the fact that it's a skull, and then people have funny feelings with skulls, and until they know this skull is so friendly, you you kind of fall in love with it. It's really a peaceful thing, but not knowing. But so there are some of those patterns, because the size of this is piezoelectric quartz, the same kind of quartz they make computers chips out of.
Yes.
It would take, they would hold all this, anything we could put on it, every book and every library, and then some. But it also is recording. It records everything. It's recording us right now, and it records life around it. So I find that's quite interesting too. So it keeps me. I'm always being a good guy around the skull.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, what? I'll tell you a story. Sammy broke her hip, and she had to go to the hospital. And so, I went there, and she said, "Here's a few things to take care of, and I want you to watch after the skull." So she gave me the okay to do it, and so I came back to the house, and it was in one room, and I was going to move it in the other, and the skull had this look on his face that almost froze me, and trying to tell him, "Hey, I'm supposed to do this. I'm protecting you." But that's before, while she was still alive, that happened. And I've seen it give that look on several other times when certain people are around. But basically, the skull's usually like he's smiling at you right now. I don't know if you can see it or feel it, but he is.
Definitely looks like it, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. I was going to ask, because we use quartz crystal for computers now, and what could be encoded in the skull. And
Well, they say that the history of the universe is encoded inside the skull.
Wow.
Because it was the 13 skulls, and each one of the skulls have a little bit different of what they do. from what I'm told, this is the center skull, so it has that knowledge as a part of what it's supposed to do. And being the other, not all of them are piezoelectric quartz. Some of them are like red rubies and different other types of rocks, but this one I think is the one that has most of the information, and I find that so it's you think when you see it, you're looking at it, and people think, oh, I can try to make it do this or that, but the best thing to do with the skull is go with an empty glass and let the skull give you. But if you try to put, I want my this and that, it shuts down. And the best thing is do it with an open heart and meet the love in your heart with the love in the skull, and then it does amazing things sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to. You have to go in with good intention. I would think, for sure. And I was going to ask about, the legends of the 13 skulls. All these ancient traditions and indigenous people have talked about this legend, and I wasn't aware that the Mitchell-Hedges skull was kind of considered the main event, the centerpiece skull. I mean, can you, what are some of the other skulls out there that we've found as part of this set of 13? Have any of them been found?
There's at least 4 of them out there. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a lot of the people with the skulls that I really respect and like, and they're doing good work. But I have a job to do, and I've taken on it from something deep inside of me, and I enjoy being able to help people change lives and do it with fun while you're doing it, everything. So it opens people's hearts, and the heart is so powerful. We are all creators in God's image. And so as creators in God's image, we create everything in the world. And if there's a negative group that's putting out all this bad stuff, the world's gonna blow up tomorrow, and there's gonna be hurricanes and tornadoes and all this stuff, and they keep putting it out and right in your face, and everybody falls for it and goes along with it, then they're creating it. It's not, all they have to do is put the carrot in front of these people's face, and if you fall for it, you create your own demise. So it's all on us to stay in the middle point, don't be for or against it, and think about the things you want in your life, not the ones that you don't want. And it's like you're building your own future, our future, for peace and joy and love and happiness. And it's in our hands to do it. I find that that's a lesson that's coming through really strong for the last 5 years, at least, with the skull.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It's definitely topical with, how the world kind of shifted and changed back in 2020. And we're still feeling all the effects from that. Now, the skeptical community, the mainstream archaeological community, they often shoot down, finds like this. What's your response to that? And why are they so reluctant to, take serious looks at objects like these?
Okay. The Smithsonian has a mandate to keep history the way they want it.
They want it.
The way they want it. That's the mandate. And with that mandate, anything that doesn't fit their 7,000-year-old cycle, they're really having to fight now because of the LADAR and all the stuff that's coming out, and it's right in their face. I just heard that the Tartarian Empire was completely washed out of every history book in the world, and they were around all the way up to the 19th or 20th century. Did you ever hear of the Tartarians?
Oh yes. Yep, I have.
Isn't that? But that's one of the things. And with the skull, they let's say there's a site, and they go down into the site, they find all this stuff, and a lot of it doesn't fit their narrative, so it goes back to the main place. The Smithsonian goes in the basement, and it's locked up forever, and nobody knows about it after that. And
Right.
but the skull is in private hands, so they can't do it. So the only thing they've been doing is spending millions of dollars trying to say it's not real, when nobody knows who made it, how it was made, or where it was made, and it doesn't fit any of the real. Nobody can show that. They say, "Oh, it's this, it's that." Okay, well, show me the proof. That's what the proof is what makes it. But the thing is it's not here to disrupt anything. It's only here to help humanity, and the people that have the wisdom to see that, then they understand it. The ones that come with a small mind and try to think, well, that's you get what you give. So I have it's just that there's so much good stuff now coming out, where people are starting to wake up to this higher gifts and ability, and we're changing the world by taking back and realize that with all the stuff that's happening, it's opening up people's higher chakras to bring through the light from the higher planes, from the creator. And we're feeling the love, and that's the whole thing. Love is the most powerful thing in the universe, no matter what. And it's like the love is the light, and if you put light on darkness, darkness goes away. So we don't want to cause problems, we just want to fill joy.
Yeah, yeah. And with the skull, it seems like you can certainly inspire that and help humanity as a whole. For
As a
sure.
whole.
Yeah.
And so they're not everyone's ready for it. You ask how old it is. Since I've been working with a lot of people, and I feel that it was created by these 13 masters, and the 13 masters created it with their mind and their mind focus, because the way it's made, it's not really, it's perfectly made, and it supposedly is a copy of a high priest that was loved very much. And then they put all that knowledge and wisdom inside of it. That's what's passed down to me, and I feel it, or I wouldn't say it, but I do. Just repeating what I'm been told about what is coming on it.
Yeah, yeah. And now, I mean, there's like a connection, or that the Mayans obviously had possession of the skull for a long time, and it was in Lubentun, and there's kind of like an Atlantean connection to this too, is there not?
It was Atlantean, and Lemurian was in on it too, because the Atlanteans worked with power crystals, so they were into the power crystals. They kind of got off track with, the Lemurians were more the male energy type, and
No, female.
Lemurians were the female, and the Atlanteans were the male energy. Can I tell you a quick story?
Oh,
that's pretty interesting.
Please.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Last year we went to Egypt, and we went up and down the Nile, and we went to I went to inside every pyramid, and in every temple up and down the Nile, which is really, it was there was magical, because there were things that were being happened and going. It's just exciting, interesting place. And I had a dream about a year before to go into the pyramid of Giza, and it said there's a lock on the wall that can be opened on one of the walls in the king's chamber. And so I almost forgot about it, but then something fell into place, and I'm going there, and it just happened to be realize you are in the king's chamber. And so it was to take the skull to the one side of the wall, and there was using a tuning fork, cut several, but the one was a 432, and that's what vibrates with the pyramids. That's their it was created on the 432 hertz.
Right.
So we used that, and we did some ohming and do some mantra work right there, and it vibrated the wall and everything. And we had a an Egyptologist was with us, and she was standing by the door, and her job was to pay off the guys that were there so we could stay longer,
Bribe the guards.
Hide the garbage. Yeah. It works really good over there. You just got to take a lot of ones, and you're good. But so I went to that side, and I set it up, and I filled with the key of being the vibration. It opened up a chamber that went from the king's chamber down to the queen's chamber. And when the chamber opened, it connected the energy from Lemuria with the energy of Atlantis. And so after all these years, there'd been, the imbalance between male, female energy. And so by doing that, you could feel a energy shift. And that was really amazing. It was so amazing that the Egyptologist said she's taken people there for years and years. And while we were doing our work, they said that the walls of the pyramid were undulating. And that was, I guess,
Giza was moving.
Yeah.
So that was pretty powerful, but that was like what you were asking about, how some of that stuff works. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what an experience just to go to all those sites, but then
also
have that experience in the King's Chamber. And especially, considering recent findings that they found under the pyramids, which is just like, yeah.
Yeah, it possibly starting the energy, because we started the flow.
Amazing. This 1 year later, then they find all that stuff. How about that?
So you just kind of, trust and let go, and the feelings come to you, and they're usually right on. So they are always right on. So just learning to follow those feelings is kind of a hard thing. It takes a little while, because should I do it? Okay. But once you start following it precisely, it puts you in the right place at the right time, and makes everything go smoothly and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm wondering, since you've been in possession and caretaking the skull, has there ever been any instances that you've had like unwanted attention? Has there ever been any kind of meddling? You mentioned the Smithsonian. They've got their history. They want to stick to that, maintain the power. But has there ever been any groups that have tried to, mess with what you're doing?
Yeah. Well, you know what? We just do it because we believe in it. We go forward with an open heart. It does probably step on some people's toes, not needing to, because we're only working for the good of the world, or trying to do what we feel is right. And, there you get some one-on-ones, you get a few people, and then different things, but it's all about trust and following through.
Yeah, for sure. Now what's kind of next for humanity here in relation to the skull? Do you have any hopes or larger roles that this is going to play in the coming years?
Yeah, well, it's what we're really working on. We're going to opening up the fact that we want to get a center for the skull. We want to get a center where people can come and spend time with it, and we'll have meditation and healing and different things. But also there'll be people that have ability to stay around it and they have different gifts, where someone might be a healer of some belief way of doing it, an acupuncturist, a martial artist that builds confidence, of working meditation at a real high level, and people that are drawn to it to come to see it and be with it, because people are from all over the world, and it's so I just allow it to talk to the people's hearts, and if they're ready, they come. But I feel that having a center now, that I'm not saying I'm getting older, but but just sometimes when you get up in the morning and you're stiff all over, that kind of tells you a few things. But no, as we're going forward here, I'd like to have it so it's protected in the future. And so by having
And not in the museum.
not in a museum,
Yeah.
because in a museum they put it between 1 inch thick glass, and no, the skull needs to be around people, and it has that. By doing that, it's really able to touch their hearts, and it's not in a cold situation, but a one that is able to be everybody up front and personal.
Yeah. That seems to be very, very important for the skull and the future legacy.
Right.
Yeah.
So that if it's supposed to happen, it'll fall into place, and But I think when the timing's right, I'm sure that'll fall in place. I like to have it in a place where there's maybe a stream going through it, so you can have walking trails by it. You could have it's so important now to be in nature. Nature is so healing to the soul, and the more we can have it there and have it, a quiet place where you're connecting with the animals, the birds, and all the different lives, they probably have a lot of fairies and all those kind of things there too. You never know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any perspective places you'd love for this place to be?
Well, we don't want it in a real cold place, but we want it more in an area where it's more. It's not like where you're at and where I'm at, where it could be
chilly.
Could be a snowstorm tomorrow, and then wait till the weekend and you got 80. But we'd like to find a place that's a little bit more temperate, and then also a place that has the nature around it, but is close enough to a big city that has a way for people to get there easily,
Yeah. Definitely important for sure. Yeah. Now, do you think that the skull, if the skull could speak directly to all of us, which, I think it's trying to talk to us now, but what's the message that it wants to share with humanity?
With humanity is, how important it is to realize who and what we are, realize our innate power and our connection with the Creator, realizing the fact that as human beings in a 5-3 dimension, we're only able to see with eyes that can see such and such small band of frequency, and hear even smaller band of frequency, and that is what we go on. But in realizing that there's more all around us, it's like we're on a radio and we're turning it to this station, and we're here and we're dancing around playing the game, so to speak, but we don't see what's outside that frequency, and it's all around us. So it's almost like they can be walking right through you. You say, "Well, that felt funny," but you don't even know what is happening. But so there's more to it, and the skull is helping us to understand who we are and what we are, and realize that we're more than our physical bodies. And Kath's written 4 books on angels and past lives, where people are coming back, they're passing over, and then something brings them back, and what they saw and what they did. She's got 4 books on that. And so when you look at that, there's more to life than what we worry about, what you're having for dinner.
Yeah.
Come into understanding that we're powerful beings and we are able to create our world. And if you create good things, you got good things. But if you put your mind on fear and worry and different things, you're going to pull yourself into it. It's almost like the law of attraction. So we're working on with the skull because it's very positive to make us, come into that the positiveness and take back their power. And I think that as you meditation is a very important part. You have exercise, good food, different things, but meditation helps you connect to your inner self. You go into your heart, you go into your sacred heart that's right below your heart chakra, heart chakra, or your throat chakra, and at that point, you're free to travel and learn and meet different entities that are real, as real as we are. But you just have to connect to that, and the angels are always around to help us if you ask for it. Too many people, they keep going the same way and running into the same wall, and they say, "Boy, that hurt." But they don't. If they would just ask for divine help, for guidance, the angels are there, and they can't help you unless you ask. And so they just waiting for us to come to the point to say, "Hey, please." Help me on this or whatever, and you'll be surprised how that changes your life. We are empowered in ourself. The skull is kind of a light to open up people, but the real power is in each one of us, coming back to a knowledge of who and what we are, and what we can do as far as making a world of peace and joy and love. It's all up to us.
Yeah. It really is, and we've got to
have fun too, though, right?
Gotta have fun. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Now, you mentioned, before we started the show today, about potentially doing a meditation. Could you, guide myself and my listeners through,
Sure, I'd love to. Yeah, the skull does the meditation is very well because it's got that 90-degree turn, and it will take you very easily from the third plane up to a higher plane, the fifth plane, or whatever. And it's a very relaxing thing, very peaceful thing. So I'd love to do it with you. And when we do it, we usually do it to send light and love into the world because we always need more of that.
Yes, we absolutely do. Hey all, the meditation that's about to happen goes on for about 10 minutes. So if this is something that you want to skip ahead, don't want to listen to because there are some longer periods of silence, feel free to skip ahead about 10 minutes.
Okay, well, I'll tell you to find yourself into a comfortable position. Just put your hands in your lap with your palms up. If you're laying down, just relax. If you have your feet on the floor, keep them flat on the floor, and just take some slow, deep breaths. And here's a breath pattern that will help you, and you can use it anytime. You want to breathe in for the count of 4. So breathe in for 4, then hold your breath for 6, and then let out for 8. Breathe in for 4. Hold your breath for 6, and let out on 8. You get that pattern going, and it would be really helpful, like you wouldn't believe what it does for you if you could just do it a couple times during the day and just keep that pattern going. But as you do that now, just relax. And every time you breathe in, just feel that joy, the love and light coming right into your heart and your body and your mind, and just feel that joy. And you're free to be and do anything. Just feel that. And as you breathe out, just feel that any kind of negative thing that's holding you back, it's making you feel uncomfortable, you can just feel it letting out of your body, going into the light stream. It just dissolves it and takes it away from you. And now you feel freer on each breath. And I want you to think right now, put your mind on your third eye. And as your third eye, I want you to look up into the sky, high into the sky. And I want you to see this beautiful diamond light that's up there, and you're going to feel it coming down towards you. And let it go right down through the crown chakra, right at the top of your head, through your body, and down through your feet into the earth, through the top of the skull, and sending it down into the earth, deep into the earth. You're going down to the heart of the Mother Earth. As you connect with the earth, with Gaia, you feel this great, great love. This love is so tremendous. And it surrounds you, and just feel the beauty and the depth of it as it now comes up and goes up into the skull, and the Father-Son energy is coming together up through your feet into your heart. And just feel the energy from the Creator and from the Mother coming together in your heart, and feel it balancing in joy. And so now, as you in your heart is your sacred spot. So you can feel in that spot that it's all peaceful joy and love and protection. This is your space, your private space that you can go to anytime you want. And now there's a sacred chakra right at right by your throat chakra, right underneath it, and it's a part of the heart. It's the sacred heart. And to go up into that with your mind, and you just feel this beautiful warmth and love. And you're looking around, you see this tree. It's called the Monon tree, but it's like the tree of life. And it has all the colors of the rainbow, and it's very joyful and very peaceful. And you're free to go up, and you see this elevator. And I want you to go on the elevator if you choose. And we're going to go up to your highest spiritual self. So just see the elevator coming, the elevator going up. Let it go up higher, higher, up higher and higher. You can hear the sounds of angels singing even. If you can, just listen to the beautiful sounds. Coming up. As the elevator slows and stops, the door opens, and you walk out in this beautiful, it looks like a castle of crystal and light. And the light shimmers and it's like golden. And you'll see all the different entities, the masters, your master, Yahshua, all the different divine beings, they're here with you. And they're the ones that you work with, so you find them right away. Now you want to, you're open up to this higher consciousness. Just go from there. You're going to float right out above the earth. And you have the ability to send this light and love to wherever you see it needs healing, any disease, any war, any pain, your family, your friends, or anyone in the world. You're there to help if you choose. And the light comes right out of the palms of your hands. So now up looking down at the earth. Just send that love and light to the North Pole, to the South Pole, to the East, and to the West. And this shower the world with this beautiful, beautiful diamond light and the golden light that's with it too. Now, I want you to use your imagination, love, and light, and you can go anywhere. If there's a person in your life that needs healing, just send that light to them. If there's parts of the world where you feel needs freedom from war, from pain, disease, send that light to them. You are in control. Go now. Send the love, send the light. Okay, just feel the love and the thanks, and they're getting so much thankfulness from all the divine for your great love and work. So coming back into a circle, bring it into the circle, surrounded by this white light core, this holiness and love and light protection. And now, just real shortly, we're just going to go into each one of you go into your life, and I want you to put good stuff in your life. Prosperity and peace and joy, whatever you feel that you want. It's yours to create. This is your timeline, putting out a timeline of peace and joy and love. Don't forget the fun. Just feel that love and light in your heart, and you feel lighter and better and freer. The soul has sent you all. He's told me, don't forget the fun. So put that in your heart. Okay, now always say thank you with great appreciation for all those great ones that have helped us on this today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And coming back, I want you to start. I'm going to bring you back on the count of 5. So just let the energy start to move back into your body. 2, just let it flow out your fingertips and toes. You're coming back, coming back. 3, you're almost back. Just at this point, just hold that love. It's with you. It's your love. It's your light coming to you from the Creator. And there's the fun coming in too. 4, you're almost back. Feel yourself coming back, coming back. 5 has been counted now. Whenever you're ready, bring yourself back. Nice, easy, and joyfully. Connection between the other 12 skulls open now. Thanking all those great beings in light for their gifts and being with us. Thank you, thank you. God's love to all of you. the skull keeps telling me, have fun. So,
and happy Easter.
Yep.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, that was an experience. Thank you for
Wasn't
guiding
it?
us through that.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah.
It's really light and joyful, and you feel, that's great.
Yeah. There were definitely a lot of joyful feelings that came through. So yeah, thank you again. Yeah.
With the skull always says, you haven't seen nothing yet.
Hey,
there you go. Yeah.
We're here for it.
All
well, well, before we go, I would like to know, or my audience to know, if you could, you do a lot of events and stuff like that. Do you have any upcoming events that you're going to be speaking at or attending that you'd like to plug?
Yes, I do with a lot of we're doing more and more. We don't have to travel as much, so we're just making special events. We're going to go to Lilydale at the end of June, and that's a very special place. It's the oldest spiritual community in the country. It was founded by Lady Blonsky.
She was participant there. It's in Upper New York, so that's in your neck of the woods, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right near Niagara Falls, pretty close. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that should be fun. And
then Contact in the Desert, of course. And we're doing quite a few sessions, private sessions on Zoom, and they can go to www.mitchell-hedges.com. That's www.mitchell with 2 L's, Hedges, HEDGES.com. And you can book a session right there on the internet, and then I'll email you back and we'll go.
So we do that. Yeah.
So we were doing a lot of that, especially this time of, this is a very explosive month here with April. So
yeah, always
big changes, good stuff.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're all going to be good creators.
Yeah. Exactly. Well,
this has been really neat. I hope.
Thanks so much.
I hope this answers some questions, and we did just have it. It was really just a fun time. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you to both of you so much for joining me today for the show. And yeah, we'll have to chat again at some point in the near future.
Sounds great.
Okay, come visit at Contact in the Desert, because
I will be there.
Meet a lot of really top people there, and it's in all the different fields. So you're getting them all there together. So
yes, exactly. Great. Well, thank you again, and it's been a pleasure.
Adventure.
Yes.
Namaste.
All right. Thanks again to Bill and Catherine for coming on the show today. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. It was a lot of fun. As I said before, the crystal skulls, this is a topic, something that I've always found really fascinating, and perhaps it is a relic that can help humanity and has some otherworldly powers to it. Now, as with any extraordinary claims, there are skeptics and believers, divided camps as to whether or not the Mitchell-Hedges skull and similar skulls around the world are the real deal or not. This really kind of is the same thing for anything that falls under the Fortean umbrella, but hopefully today's episode offered some perspective on this particular topic. And as always, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and informed decisions with this stuff. The world is a truly strange place, and we'll see what happens with this moving forward. But anyway, thank you for listening to the show and hanging out today. Again, I'm Jeff, and this is, of course, the Strangeology Podcast. As always, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone out there who checks out my show, those of you who download it, share it with friends and family. It helps me out a ton when you do that. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribing to the channel, liking, commenting, and sharing it out to the world, it really helps boost my episodes to more people out there to help keep this thing growing to the next level. Strangeology really wouldn't be possible without the support of listeners like you. To any advertisers or companies out there looking to collaborate with the Strangeology podcast, or if you'd like to be considered for an interview on the show, or want to share your story or encounter with the strange and unexplained, from the paranormal, cryptids, and aliens, or if you're an author, researcher, expert, go to strangeology.com/contact, or you can send off an email to info@strangeology.com. And just another reminder to make sure to give me a follow over on all of my social media accounts. If you're looking for more content from me in between episodes, we're active most days on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you can find Strangeology also on X, Threads, Substack, and Blue Sky. Always trying to keep content pumping out for everyone, and we like to have fun. So check all of that out. Links will be in the show notes. And Strangeology can use all the help it can get. So if you want to help support the show and love what I do, you can sign up to become a channel member on my YouTube channel for $5 a month, which gets you access to bonus segments of the podcast episodes and new videos. And they're also early ad-free access as well. I'm working on expanding the back catalog of the 80 plus episodes I have. So it'll all be up slowly but surely. Stay tuned. You can also support me by signing up to become a member on my Patreon, which is at patreon.com/Strangeology. Higher tiers unlock more perks like early access to new episodes and long format videos, which are also ad-free. You also gain access to the members-only episode extension, Strangeology Beyond, which is sometimes a whole other research topic or extended guest interview. There's also a permanent 30% off merch discount to my shop, as well as exclusive members-only merch. There's also voting power for topics I cover, and behind-the-scenes content, and more. So if you want to join a growing community of like-minded people who love the strange and unexplained, it's a great place to be. I appreciate the support so much, and the more of it I get, the more content I can create for everyone out there. And to those members out there, thank you so much for your continued support. Make sure to go to patreon.com/Strangeology. And speaking of merch, you can grab your favorite Fortean merch from Strangeology over on my Etsy shop. The link is strangeology.etsy.com. The links will be in the show notes, of course, but I've got things like shirts, stickers, prints, magnets, mugs, tumblers, and so much more, with tons of cryptid designs, my home state cryptid collection. I've got conspiracy designs. There's also UFO and alien designs, all sorts of stuff. There's something for everyone. And I'm always adding new artwork. I try to do all my own artwork and get things in as often as I can to keep things fresh. So if you want to check that out, again, it's strangeology.etsy.com. I appreciate the support so much. All right, that's all for me for now for the regular show. Bill and Catherine were able to hang out for a little while longer to talk about more experiences with the Mitchell-Hedges skull, along with interactions with angelic beings and what lies on the other side of life. So, members, stick with me after this short break, and for everyone else, until the next time, make sure to take care of yourselves and each other, and keep it strange.